moving on to the bad OCs, we're going to take a look at what he brought to the party. So, Ardail, tell us all about the bad OC you brought on this week. Oh, God.
Actually, when I looked at it, actually, how it looks, I could draw fan art of that and maybe actually do a cool little pose or whatever. But this is Ravenfeather, and they are an earth pony who came from a tribe who is isolated from most of society, you know, just like any other outlandish tribe out there. Let's see here. They're entirely dependent on their environment. I'm assuming that they're, you know, foragers. They don't use industry at all. Yeah, so a lot of the talents of the village would be like, you know, being the village shaman, or being the village, you know, crop. Like most of them would be like crop ponies, just working farms, whatever farming they're doing. So apparently the background story is that she took basically an internship with the apprenticeship. That's what it is. Sorry,
apprenticeship.
It's a tribe.
I was like
it's
internship.
A tribe. It's not a town. No.
It's not an internship.
Talk about an internship. Anyways, so she gets the apprentice ship with the town shaman, and she starts learning about medicines and whatnot. And then eventually, after she gets the ritual is what actually gave her cutie mark. It wasn't necessarily just like, oh, this is the moment I figured out I wanted to be this moment. It's like, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of an interesting concept that like they get their cutie mark based upon what the tribe has figured out that they need to be doing, not necessarily like what they figured out that they as their special talent or whatever, like them themselves figured out. They kind of it's kind of like working with the town to figure out what your special talent is, which kind of reminds me of the season 5 intro somewhat. But anyways, so she apparently watches normal ponies quite a bit from a distance. Let's see here. I gotta find a lot of stuff. Gotta read through it to get this again. Being easily distracted filly at times, mainly because of her mane, she would often miss out on important information, resulting in frequently asking, "Can you repeat that?" Fortunately, as she grew older, mane didn't become as much of a bother anymore, and she was able to focus on her training. I kind of like she has this little like the aesthetics. I kind of like the aesthetics. They're kind of a little bit interesting. The face mask kind of reminds me of the trolls from World of Warcraft. Like the whole tribeness, it kind of reminds me of like trolls from World of Warcraft, actually, everything about her, like witch doctor-ish. But the reason why I brought it on as a not so good OC, I wouldn't say this is bad, but it's just not as good, is because like there's not a whole lot about the character itself. It's just like she's the shaman, and that's about it. And they keep talking about like how the mane gets in their eyes, but that's about it. It's not really like, it's like, what's this supposed to mean? I mean, this doesn't really have any meaning at all. It's just like the mane is in her eyes. Okay, so also, why not get a haircut?
It really bugs me because I like that they have the eyes down below and like by themselves so you can see them. But if the mane covers her eyes, and that's a specific thing you're pointing out, why are you drawing the eyes like anime eyes that are going through the mane? That makes it seem like that. Like if for instance I just saw the shaman one, I wouldn't even think that her mane goes over her eyes. Like it just looks like she just has eyes like normal. So I would tweak that.
I would too. But the thing that bothers me the most about the whole mane thing is that they put so much emphasis on it, like all the time. It's like, oh, this is their defining character point, is that they have hair in their eyes. Like that's like the reason why she asks so many questions is because of her mane. Like not because that's her personality, it's because of her mane. And it's like the mane is how they define this character was by her mane, not by the character itself.
Yeah, it's like, she's a shaman who has a mane.
She has a mane problem. She has a hair problem.
She's an emo shaman.
So it's like.
Also, I would like more details on what shaman abilities.
I mean, they were saying something about like medicine man. Basically, that's what they were alluding to. But yeah, they didn't really flesh out what she did. Like, I mean, aesthetically, she looks interesting, but as far as the character goes, which I mean, the reason why I picked this was because I wanted to be like, you know, artistically, I could make fan art of this. That's no problem. I mean, you know, I could make some witch doctor looking stuff, but as far as what character and what personality I want to put into the picture, I don't really know what to go with. I honestly have no idea if she should be like a shy witch doctor or being one with like like potions or whatever, working with that, or looking like some dynamic poses. No idea. I have no idea what they want out of this character if I was to draw fan art of it. No idea.
When you have the cutie mark representing her shaman abilities, meaning her main thing in life is her ability to be this great shaman, her special talent, and we don't know what that really.
The only thing we really know is that she does medicine. That's about it. So I mean, it's like with mummifieds.
I'm almost sure shamans are a lot more than just medicine.
Yeah. I mean, medicine and being like a medicine man is definitely.
I mean, if we're doing like realistic, real life shamans, yeah, that's about it. But this is ponies and this is fantasy, so you're able to do more with it. There's more you could do with it.
That's about it from our perspective, though from the perspective of those in these tribes, the shaman is a lot more.
Which is true,
yeah. Which is why you would have, for like having created a shaman pony, you'd want to write it from the perspective of like within this tribe, how like their like what their job is and what they do and why that's important.
Yeah, like are they a spiritual guide or something?
Are they like the leaders of their tribe?
Not necessarily. Yeah, like shamans are usually the spiritual guides in most tribes.
Yeah,
like they were like Indian shamans, like Native American shamans. They were usually ones that lead them on like spirit journeys, things like that. Out in the, like they take out like a specific tribe member and they do like a spirit journey to find out themselves. That's generally what they do. But they don't lead to that at all with this character. All we know about it is just medicine. That's it. And she likes to stalk normal ponies. This isn't a bad character, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's a very good one because
it's a good concept.
It's kind of like mummifieds, where it's a good concept, but I don't know what to do with it. Like, what am I supposed to be doing with this? So it's not just artistically like this OC's art quality. I would say is actually quite a bit better than a lot of the stuff in the gallery, but that's judging on people's ability or whatever. But that's all fine. But just because you have good quality doesn't necessarily mean you have a good character. That's what I mainly wanted to bring this on for, was to talk about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we mentioned that forever ago. Is that, and I think it was actually a good OC where we also brought that up. Where I can't remember the name of it, but it was she had a Red Cross cutie mark, and she had this amazing art piece thing. But I think we really enjoyed her more more done by the artist, and it had more story to it, and it showed more of
that was like one of our first episodes.
Yeah, that's like super old.
That is like straight up like episode 2 or episode 3.
Yeah, and it kind of like we covered how you can have an amazing art piece and you can also have an amazing character, but just having one of those, or just having the amazing art piece, doesn't make up for the lack of character.
A good OC is the two coming together, creating something which fills out a specific role to be doing what it wants to do. Yeah. Design-wise, I think it's a decent design. I mean, I'd tweak it a little bit, but that's just me personally. But, as far as the character itself, I don't really see much of a character. It just looks like what would be like a generic NPC in a game. I wouldn't see this as being like a major character.
Right on. So, moving on to the next bad OC, we're going to take a look at what Medi has for us. So, Medi, tell us all about your bad OC.
This is Distance. He is male Draconicus. He is part bluebird, part cheetah. He has a hind clover hoof, and he loves his job of messing with ponies. He dislikes sweet things, staying in one place for too long, and absolutely hates being called annoying. He's an interdimensional traveler. That's his occupation, which means he goes through different dimensions. Just in case you didn't know what that meant. I mean, it's kind of in the name. He often throws ponies through the dimensions, into dimensions not of their own. So he's a dick. He also is very, very, very random. Lols, it's the wrong OC. Whoa! Because of his occupation, mostly. And also probably because they really wanted to make Discord without making Discord. He's also a bit clumsy, and as some would say, has a toddler attitude. So he acts like a fucking child. And he also doesn't know where he came from. He just one day poofed into existence and became a chaotic portal-wielding motherfucker.
Asshole.
And that's about it. That's all. That's everything. And, yeah, so I'm not a big fan of this.
Really? Wow.
Because honestly, character-wise, he's lacking in a lot of things, such as motivation. at all. And I know, like, oh, Discord doesn't have motivation. No, Discord has a lot of motivation, being that he is the embodiment of chaos, and therefore acts of his nature, and nature is a great ambition to follow. Following your nature when you have divine power is pretty common, actually. But this guy just poofs, doesn't know where he's from, doesn't know anything, and just starts fucking around in different dimensions and fucking throwing ponies and shit. It feels like they wanted to make Discord with, and I mean even with the name Distance. There's my biggest issue is, like, I can't completely hound this OC for being annoying, because I personally don't know how Draconicus work. The only evidence of Draconicus is how they work are Discord, and Discord seemed like a rare creation. He didn't seem normal. He didn't seem natural.
Yeah, like, I do have to agree that, like, there's a difference between using alicorns and Draconicus. Personally, I could see alicorns as being used if, like, they're filling out the same role as, like, you see all the princesses do. Like, you know, Cadence is a princess of love, princess of night and darkness, friendship.
I'm personally against any alicorns without any real good strong reason.
I know, that's yeah. I mean, like, if there's a good alicorn reason for it, but I mean, like, Discord is literally the only Draconicus we've ever seen ever. So there's no real way to be able to make another Draconicus because we have no other references.
In comparison, Discord seems completely unnatural. He seems he looks more like he was a creation than all the other characters. Like, the ponies of the universe seem natural. Seems like that's how the natural way of things is. These ponies just appear, they have magic, they have all this shit. Where Discord appears and he's this jumbled mess of chaos and instant, like, wind powers. I mean, I will perfectly admit that I am biased here, and I feel that Draconicuses in the world of MLP are unnatural and wouldn't just be created, wouldn't be born. They aren't some being that just comes into existence.
I would have to agree with that.
Discord's like a timeless being.
Yeah, he's
like,
he's the embodiment of
he
chaos. He
seems to live like a normal life, but, like, it's weird. Some weird shit.
Well, he's the embodiment of chaos. I mean, they never. He's
literally chaos
incarnate. Yeah,
where he just does what he does because that's his nature.
Because he can.
He's naturally chaotic, and that's why it's so weird that they want him to reform, because reforming would be going against your nature, and that'd be completely against the idea of a special talent.
I feel like this character's design is very lazy as far as, like, how they designed it, because all they really did was just, like, they drew a normal pony, and then they just kind of, like, copy and pasted onto it the other parts.
I mean, as much as, like, I love Discord's design-wise, because his is really well done, honestly, for, like, a really
jumbled up thing. Yeah, it looks good. It still looks kind of dragon shaped, but at the same time, it's not.
Yeah, and he has all those different aspects of, like, the big, long one tooth, and then he has the goat head, the dragon wing, the cool tail. This just doesn't work well, because you have your gradients, you have that really weird cheetah hand that the gray is just blinding to look at.
It's also just well, I mean, like, the face itself is only just pony. It doesn't even look like a weird jumbled up Discord sort of head. It's just like, hey, look, there's a pony ear with a pony face and a pony hair, pony wing, and a different color pony wing, and then just, like, a lizard tail.
And then it's like there's, like, two pony legs.
The cheetah arm looks more like a cheetah sock. Like, it looks like if you just put a line on the back of it, it looks like he was wearing, like, a cheetah sock.
If you really want to attempt making a Draconicus OC, I highly advise against it, because, personally, bias am here. I don't like Draconicus OCs because I feel Discord is unnatural, so therefore a natural being existing goes completely against what I think. But if you're going to look at Discord, you need to use Discord as your basis, since you have no one else.
I mean, yeah, like, alicorn OCs, everybody has references to 4 alicorn OCs. Like, 4 different not OCs, sorry, just normal characters.
Yeah,
4 different alicorns, yeah.
There's just not much, there's just not really a reason.
It just seems really forced if you try doing it.
There's less of a reason to make one than an alicorn.
It's true, yeah. Like, I could see more reasons for making more alicorn OCs than there would be for Draconicus OCs.
I've seen plenty of good.
Yeah, I've seen a few good alicorn OCs.
Yeah, so sorry, Tricky 213, if this seemed a little
harsh.
Heated. Yeah, harsh at you, but I needed to get my personal opinions on Draconicus is out there, and it didn't mean for it to be harsh. I'm trying to be as fair as a critic as I can be. I mean, I let my biasism show, but everyone's biased, so that's not an issue.
So, then, thank you, Mehdi, for bringing that on. Next up, we have Commander's Bad OC. So, Commander, All yours.
The OC that I brought this week is Skipper, the pone. Okay, so Skipper is he's a unicorn. It says from a long time ago, which I'm wondering if it has to do with, or the fact that it's sort of in that ancient, like, older unicorn style, if that actually has anything to do with that. If that is the case, that's actually, I like that. But here's where it gets a little bit weird. He's a time traveler. He's not immortal, but his aging is slowed down by 75%.
Specifically 75%.
Exactly. That's what it says.
So he ages at 15% or at 75%?
Do you mean 25?
Yeah, sorry. I'm thinking.
It sounds like from the phrasing, his aging is slowed down about 75%. He ages at a rate of 25% of normal aging, is what it sounds like. So a fourth as fast. He's 3 times older than the main 6, but his body physically is about the same. He got his cutie mark through an accident, apparently. He woke up one morning, just his home was gone, his family, his parents, just alone. Somewhere in a different time, just woke up, different place, or same place, different time, his home wasn't there. Then he didn't, at first he had pretty much no way to really control at what he could kind of, I guess, has a power and an ability that he builds up through trial and error, where he can go through time. But at first he couldn't even control what direction he went, let alone how far. Now he can kind of control the direction but he still doesn't know how to really pinpoint, like, this year or this time specifically. Just like forwards.
I guess that makes sense for MLP too, because MLP has been shown to have a strict one singular timeline thing where you can't change anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. That's a decent idea, because it's not just like, oh, I have time powers and I kind of
I definitely like that. It makes the power not totally overpowered.
So it does seem like, oh crap, I have to go through all this trial and error. So I could see a lot of potential in, like, oh crap, I kind of messed up, and, like, doing things with the character, like he was trying to practice his time traveling and then totally screwed up and got himself in big trouble. I could see potential for the character in that.
But anyways, onto his sort of, like, personality, I guess. He's usually, like, caring and considerate, but has some anxiety and depression, which is kind of, like they say, it's kind of expected, because they kind of lost their parents, lost literally everything in their life because they're no longer in the same time. He sort of has detached himself from others just for fear of, like, getting too attached, and then
being ripped away from his time.
Then hurting them or annoying them, which hurting them in the fact of, like, him then having this weird time ability, I can see that. Annoying them seems a little bit, it just seems a little out of place. Just because, like, I totally have a reason, can see a reason for the hurting them part, because that makes total sense, because they don't have enough, like, they barely have the ability to choose what direction they're going in time, let alone where they're going. So when they go, they're gone.
See, I could see that being kind of cool. It's like he can't really control it, and then he's just randomly gone at times, and he can somewhat manipulate it. And then that'd be kind of cool if it's like he doesn't want to get too close to people, because you never know when he might just suddenly disappear. His time's up.
Yeah, and he has no idea how to get exactly back to where he was.
Yeah, you can only somewhat manipulate it.
He likes to read, which I'm like, okay, and play video games. His favorite being Pokemon, and, like, talking to his friends. His best friend is a bluebird, and together they make comics about his adventures.
See, yeah, I'm not okay with that, but that's mainly because it just seems like it's kind of thrown in there. It's another one of those moments of writing where it's just like, wait, what?
It almost, for most of those things to work, you have to ignore the major concept that this character is surrounding. Like, the fact that he doesn't have precise control over his time traveling abilities, he doesn't know when he's going in time. Like, what if video games probably don't fucking exist for a lot of the time? Is that before?
Hey, is your best friend who is a blue jay an actual blue jay?
Well, Bluebird. It says Bluebird.
Bluebird. But
Which
his best friend is Bluebird.
Is that a? Are they? I'm assuming that's just a pony named Bluebird.
And
that's because I mean, or maybe a griffin. Maybe.
And yet you have this I can't get attached to people because I may disappear one day type of thing going on, and Then you immediately after it.
Yeah, and it's like,
here's my best friend.
And some of those things could make sense if this was before this accident. But the comics about his adventures sounds like his adventures through time traveling, which that then doesn't make sense.
So let you guys know, stay consistent with your characters. If you're going to come up with a character point, stay consistent with it.
But moving on to aesthetics, I mean, overall the aesthetics of this pony aren't actually that bad. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, the gradients at the appendages and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not a huge gradient fan, but they're not too like obtrusive or anything. I like the actual coat color. Like it's all like pretty like toned down colors. There's nothing really oversaturated. They're all pretty pastel. I'm not a huge fan of the way the yellow and brown mix, but that's just a personal thing. It's not bad, but I don't know. It's pretty.
I would have liked a little bit of hair on the neck.
Yeah, that I would include that, unless that's a species thing, because since this is obviously not a normal unicorn or normal pony, but yeah. I mean,
like you said, ancient
really
unicorn, that would have been cool potential right there. Possibly, I don't know if it's what they want, but us talking about it, possibly.
I also like the cutie mark. It's pretty simple. I mean, almost a bit too simple. Also, it begs the question of like, does he know what a watch is? Does he know what a clock is? Because it just sort of having this very loosely defined of like a long time ago. What's a long time ago? The story, this is kind of like a good part too. It's like, there's a lot of parts of the concept that I like, how certain, like, they handled the time travel thing, because it's a very, very hard thing to handle, but then just some of the inconsistencies of how it's developed, not having too much personal character, doesn't really, maybe, I would recommend maybe going into some of the things that maybe have defined him through his time traveling that have helped him learn what's going on a little bit better, or like, experiences that have helped him cope with the fact that he is pretty much fucked right now.
This is one of those times when I would have to say more detail would have been nice.
Yes, it definitely would have helped flesh out the character, and then I might have chosen this for a good OC. It's right now it's sort of like a bad/good part 2.
Moving on to the final OC, final OC of the night. We are going to take a look at what I brought on. And I brought on a Zeal Crown by the Pristine One. Ooh. So, this is Zeal. Zeal is a unicorn archaeologist with passion for finding lost artifacts. She is a mare who tends to take things too seriously, although she is incredibly smart. After her parents divorced, Zeal wanted to live with her zebra dad to escape the bullies from her community in Manhattan. Here, she discovered her passion for archaeology and was able to gain a cutie mark. Living in a community with zebras, though, Zeal wasn't able to properly practice her magic. Because of this, her magic was a little bit weaker than the average equestrian unicorn. Now that she's back in Equestria, she spends the days she is on an expedition practicing her magic and doing artifacts and donating artifacts to museums all across Equestria.
So I have one question. The mane is in the eyes. Does it define her character?
Does not. Does not define her character. But my biggest problem
not
really
as good as
funny. My biggest problem with this character was the fact that it's like, quote, after her parents' divorce, Zeal wanted to live with her zebra dad to escape the bullies. Wait.
She's a zebra dad?
She has a zebra dad?
She doesn't look like a zebra dad.
Doesn't look like a zebra, and that's just profiling. But also the fact that in their race, they specify it as unicorn duh. Like, obviously she's a unicorn. Really? Because in that story, it kind of makes it out to be a unicorn-zebra hybrid.
Yeah.
On the off chance that this particular, was the father, the biological father is not a part of this, and she was raised believing that the zebra was her biological father, when in fact it was a stepfather, I put it in the story then. Tell us that that's the case. But right now it's just like,
seems very strange.
I don't fucking get it.
Also, just she wanted to live with her zebra dad to escape the bullies in her from her community. It's like, there were bullies? When the fuck did that come up? That's it seems like a thing that if you're gonna have that be the catalyst for her like wanting to leave where she's living, I would recommend having that like explained before, as opposed to just thrown in as just some like retroactively almost throwing it in to be like, oh well, I want this character to go to the zebra place, which would then affect different things later on in the story. Well, how do I do that? Oh, bullies, and then just not going farther to just have it fully fleshed out.
There's a lot of things that are just like thrown in. It's like, oh, by the way, this, by the way, this, by the way, this, by the way, this, and we're like, wait, hold on, what? And that was my biggest problem.
There's a lot of that. Like, here's a question, just really quickly. Like, so because she was living in a zebra community, she's not allowed to properly practice her magic. Is that just because there's nobody to help her? I thought that a lot of ponies, they just slowly work on developing their magic themselves. Is that looked down upon? If so, why would she move to a zebra community in the first place?
Along with that, we have cases in the show where Zecora helped Twilight harness her own magic as well. So, yeah.
It seems like you're just trying to have that so that she has this weakness, but the weakness, this is a weird case where this weakness seems like kind of like almost forced. Like, I have to get, it's not that you're developing a fully fleshed out character that has a weakness because they're a character, but you're giving them a weakness specifically because you're like, oh, well, characters needs weakness.
Aesthetically, I hate this pony's mane.
It's very strange. It's weird because like you can sort of see like almost like the top of the head just peeking through where like mane normally is covering, but instead of going that direction, it just went straight down.
Yeah, I tend to do hair going outwards a little bit more over the forehead, but that's just my own personalness of how I draw things.
That's just a general like MLP thing.
Why do they have an ankh or an ankh on their neck?
Probably is some sort of thing because archaeology, Egyptian, ankh.
Right, archaeology, that's the tie. Okay, never mind. I apologize about that.
I mean, I still am not 100% sold on it because it's like, why would they have an ankh in fucking Equestria?
Well, not to mention, it's like the whole archaeology thing just really seems like kind of forced almost. It's like,
ooh. Yeah, like, where does that come into this story?
They're an archaeologist.
Okay, because it says that she discovered the passion for archaeology after moving to the zebra community. So she got her talent by moving to the zebra community that was caused by the bullies, and then none of these things have any like effect or like any substance that adds really to the character. They're just there. We're getting the list of all the things that has happened to the character, but not who the character is and how they react to situations. Kind of like Silver Curl was explaining at his panel, actually. It's very, very much like that. These things have happened to my character. Okay, so what do they do?
How do they feel? How do they feel about these characters?
How do they react?
If Smooth was here, he would say something along the lines of, a character is more than what
happens to them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You are the conglomerate of all the events in your life and how you have reacted to
how you can handle them. Yep. How you as a person have been able to handle it.
That is what makes a person a character. And this is missing half the equation.
This character has a world built around it as to like where this pony has been, what this pony has done, but not a whole lot of information about how these events transpired and why they how this character feels about these events that have happened to them. Put some more emotion into this character and really kind of flesh out the mentality of this character. Are they extremely excited about the fact that they're moving away with their divorced father? Also, how did the divorce affect this individual? What, like, are they happy or like sort of like, hey, fuck you bullies, I'm out? Or are they like, finally, I'm away from these bullies? Like, mentality about this. Give us like more about it as well. Also, clean up the mane, and if you are going to go with this kind of cover the eye sort of thing, put it on the other side and give us a reverse perspective of it, because that mane would just annoy the living hell out of literally any pony that would have it. They'd be like, give me a scrunchie, give me literally anything to get rid of all this shit.
Shave my head!
Yeah, and it's super hot there, too. Wouldn't you want to, like, get rid of half of it? Jeez. We're going to move on to the actual voting aspect of this show. So, going over the ponies that we brought to the show, I brought on Clara Shines by Zulala. Commander brought on Tangy Hue by Tangy Owl. Medi brought on Lullaby by Silverboy27. Ardail brought on Irony by 8-Bit Amy. So, going back in the same order we presented in, and not voting for the same pony you brought to the show, Ardail, who do you vote for?
I have to say Lullaby, honestly.
Nice.
I really would. She just fills out, like...
I have to relook at what Ardail looks like again.
What I look like again? I look beautiful.
You look like a man of men.
Giant beard.
I look like Chris Pratt.
And his,
You love
and
I
his,
look like
and his
Chris
black
Pratt.
top
With your
hat,
giant
I have
and,
raptors.
and just standing up and gesticulating everywhere. And oh my god, bronies are so...
Your face is burned into my mind. Don't worry, I can never forget.
Just
His
imagine
hands
Chris
are burnt
Pratt
into my mind.
with raptors. That's me.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. It's gonna go to Irony because I was just gonna pick her anyways. At one point.
Yeah. Commander?
For me, I mean, I was sort of looking, it was like, it's between Lullaby and Irony, and then I was like, no, it's Irony. I really liked Irony.
Yeah. I'm also going to have to vote for Irony because, god damn it, I love 8-Bit Amy's style so much.
8-Bit, I just recently found them. They're so good.
They're so good. Well, then, congratulations there, Ardail, for bringing on the best OC of this week.
Winning.
Yeah, and congratulations, 8-Bit Amy, for winning this week's episode. So, moving on to bad OCs, I brought on Zeal Crown by the Pristine One. Commander brought on Skipper by a name that I cannot pronounce. Medi brought on Distance by Tricky213. And Ardail brought on Raven by Mantle Jackal.
I obviously would say Distance because, I mean, it's just... I do have a bit of biasness against Draconis's, and I've just never really seen any of them handled well. They're just usually like a giant mess, and this one especially is just like for the lulz more than anything else. Just like, I did this lol, lol.
Yeah. Medi?
Whatever Ardail's name was, I've already forgotten.
Raven?
Yeah.
I still think I'm gonna have to actually give it to Zeal Crown, because it's like, it like has all these different things for one side and then completely fails to capitalize on anything that is even possibly laid down. I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah, Zeal Crown was a very
that's
close second for me.
Yeah. I am going to have to vote for Distance for my vote this week. So that means Medi wins?
Yes?
Yes, because 1 for Raven, 1 for me, and 2 for Medi. So, congratulations, Medi, on bringing the worst OC this week. So, those were the ponies that were brought on to this week's show. If you happen to want your pony on the show, or any questions possibly answered on the show, tell them where they can send them in there, Medi.
You can send it to us at eurocsucks.deviantart.com, at eurocsucks at twitter.com, eurocsuckspodcast@gmail.com, and eurocsuckspodcast.tumblr.com.
Wonderful. This show is also sponsored by the lovely people over at patreon.com. You can support us by giving up a weekly monetary donation to help fund and support this show in random ways that make things possible through us. Head on over there to patreon.com/EuroCSucks to become a patron today. Ardail, I want to thank you for coming on this show. You have been a wonderful guest. You are a lovely man.
Anything I'd like to...
Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Well, we'll plug Discord that it needs to be plugged in.
Nice.
Get out.
You are
Get
the
off the
absolute
show.
worst, and I regretted ever
We're
bringing you
throwing
on
this
it.
episode in the garbage.
Good.
It's done.
Fuck this.
End it with
It's
a
gonna be our
pun.
1 week off. Anyway, so yeah, DeviantArt. What's your DeviantArt?
Ardail.deviantart.com. That's
Sweet.
mainly where I am. I mean, I've kind of used Tumblr, but not really.
Not really. Aren't you on Twitter?
Yeah, I do quite a bit of tweeting. I never actually thought I was going to use Twitter, but now I do. It's weird.
You were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Yeah, I have to blame
Yeah.
Flutter Guy for that. It's entirely his fault why I use Twitter.
Flutter Guy 317. Nice.
He was
Love
like,
that guy.
No, some other Flutter
Hey,
guy.
there are actually a shit ton
There
of Flutter
are.
guys in this
There
goddamn
really are.
fandom.
There probably
I
are,
bet
but
3.
like, come
Okay,
on.
Now, how many of them know Ardail?
3 of them.
Really?
Ardail's a popular dude, all right?
That's pretty
horse
impressive.
Infinus.
But like, let's be serious though. Like, if we're talking about Flutter Guy in context with us,
I would not
like,
call myself horse famous. I'm horse infamous because when you can mention famous people, I don't sit there and go, oh my gosh, this guy. But I'm not well known.
Yeah. So, like I said, Ardail, it has been great having you on, and hope
thanks for having
to see you sometime soon. In the meantime, my name is Mummified Thunderbirds. This week, I've been joined by
Commander Sparkle,
Maribolo,
and our lovely special guest,
that one guy. I mean, Ardail.
And remember, your OC sucks.